In the sun-scorched basin between the Pacific Ocean and the jagged arms of the San Gabriel Mountains, there once lay a land that shimmered like a mirage, a place where dreams could take root in dry soil. Long before movie stars and freeways, before palms lined boulevards and lights glittered in the Hollywood hills, this land was silent, vast, and waiting. What would become Los Angeles was once a distant, almost invisible speck on the world's map, an arid frontier of untapped promise. And yet, from this dust and sunlight would rise one of the most iconic cities in the world. How did it all begin? How did a land once claimed by empires and shaped by missionaries grow into a cinematic capital of culture and commerce? This is the story of Los Angeles, discovered, reshaped, and reinvented over centuries. A city that mirrors both the American dream and its contradictions. Before there was Los Angeles, there were the Tongva people, stewards of the land for thousands of years. Known to themselves as the Gabrielino Tongva, they built thriving villages near rivers and ocean shores. Their way of life was built around the land's natural gifts, acorns, fish, and a harmonious balance with the seasons. They called the area Yangna. Then came the Spanish. In 1769, Gaspar de Portola, leading a Spanish land expedition, arrived in Alta California with a dual mission: to secure the territory for Spain and to spread Christianity. Accompanying him was Father Junipero Serra, whose religious zeal led to the founding of a string of missions across California. Among them was the San Gabriel Mission, established in 1771 just east of present-day Los Angeles. By 1781, under the order of Spanish Governor Felipe de Neve, a settlement was founded along the banks of the Rio Porciuncula, now the Los Angeles River. Its full name was a mouthful: El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de los Ángeles de Porciuncula, or the town of Our Lady, the Queen of Angels of Porciuncula. This fledgling pueblo was established by 44 settlers known as Los Pobladores, a racially mixed group of individuals of indigenous, African, and Spanish descent. They lived in simple adobe homes, raised livestock, and farmed the land with the aid of an irrigation system known as zanjas, drawn from the nearby river. Despite the area's fertile soil, life was hard. Droughts, floods, and isolation challenged their survival. Yet, Los Angeles grew slowly, anchored in its mission roots, but distant from the centers of Spanish power in Mexico City. When Mexico gained independence from Spain in 1821, California became a Mexican territory. The missions were secularized and large ranchos were handed out to elite families, turning the area into cattle country. The economy shifted toward hide and tallow, traded with ships arriving along the coast. But even during this quiet pastoral era, Los Angeles began attracting those seeking land, escape, and reinvention. A familiar theme would take root. LA was a place to start again. In 1846, the Mexican-American War ignited, and 2 years later, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo gave California to the United States. Just 2 years after that, in 1850, California became a state, and Los Angeles, population just over 1,600, was officially incorporated as an American city. The transition wasn't peaceful. There were tensions between new American settlers and the existing California population. Crime ran rampant in the early days. The Wild West label wasn't far off. Los Angeles earned a reputation as one of the most violent towns in the West, with vigilantism and lawlessness defining many of its early years. But the tide began to turn with a powerful discovery: water. Los Angeles' dry climate had always been its Achilles heel. But in the late 19th century, city leaders realized that growth was impossible without a sustainable water source. Enter William Mulholland, an Irish immigrant and self-taught engineer whose audacious plan would change LA forever. In 1913, the Los Angeles Aqueduct was completed, bringing water from the Owens Valley over 200 miles away. The aqueduct turned parched earth into fertile real estate and spurred a population boom that would define the next century. Around the same time, an equally transformative industry emerged: oil. In the 1890s, oil was discovered in and around LA, and soon derricks dotted the landscape. By the 1920s, California was the nation's largest oil producer, and Los Angeles was its pulsing heart. Then came Hollywood. Drawn by clear skies and varied landscapes, filmmakers fleeing the Edison Trust's restrictions in the East set up studios in the LA neighborhood of Hollywood. In 1910, the first film was made there. By the 1920s, Los Angeles was the movie capital of the world, producing escapist fantasies at a time when the country needed them most. But alongside the glamour was the grit. Ethnic enclaves formed as waves of migration from Mexico, China, Japan, and the American South, brought new labor and culture. Yet racism, segregation, and violence shadowed this diversity. The Zoot Suit riots of 1943 and racially restrictive housing covenants revealed a city deeply divided even as it expanded. Still, Los Angeles kept growing, always shedding old skins for new identities. The post-World War II era transformed Los Angeles from a regional power to a global icon. Veterans returned to find plentiful land, cheap housing, and the dream of a middle-class life. Suburbs blossomed. Pasadena, the San Fernando Valley, and Orange County sprawled outward, connected by a rapidly expanding freeway system. The car became king, yet beneath the surface of sunshine in suburbia, contradictions boiled. During the 1960s, Los Angeles became a flashpoint of civil rights tensions. The Watts riots of 1965, sparked by a traffic stop and decades of racial discrimination, laid bare the inequality masked by palm trees and beach scenes. Entire communities, particularly African Americans and Latinos, faced systemic challenges: poor schools, job discrimination, and police brutality. Still, LA reinvented itself again in the 1980s and 1990s. It became a global city reflecting the world in microcosm. Immigrants from Central America, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe poured in, turning LA into one of the most multicultural cities on Earth. By the 1990s, no single racial or ethnic group held a majority. Meanwhile, the creative economy exploded beyond film. The music scene flourished: punk in Hollywood, hip-hop in South Central, surf rock on the coast. Architecture pushed boundaries. Cuisine fused the world's flavors into something unmistakably LA. The city was no longer just a backdrop for stories. It was a character of its own. Yet the city still bore scars. The Rodney King beating in 1991 and the subsequent LA riots in 1992 brought national attention to the deeply embedded racial tensions and mistrust in law enforcement. Fires burned across South LA, and the world watched a city unravel and rebuild. By the 2000s, the city leaned into reinvention once more. Downtown LA, once neglected, became a destination with revitalized lofts, art districts, and luxury towers. Environmentalism gained ground, with LA pushing public transit initiatives and green architecture. The city embraced its role as a climate change frontline, while tech and digital media brought a new wave of innovation. Los Angeles was no longer just a city of film stars. It was now a leader in innovation, multiculturalism, and activism. Today, Los Angeles is a paradox wrapped in sunlight. It is both the city of glittering success and of unsheltered struggle. Beneath the veneer of palm-lined streets and beachfront sunsets lies a place that constantly negotiates its identity. It is a city built on borrowed water, shaken by fault lines both literal and societal, yet endlessly moving forward. Skyscrapers rise beside taco stands. Luxury stores shadow homeless encampments. Highways pulse like arteries across a sprawling urban body. But that is the essence of Los Angeles. It is not a city that stands still. It evolves, reinvents, and redefines itself with each passing decade. It is a place where dreams are made, broken, and remade again. Los Angeles was never meant to be ordinary. From its indigenous roots to its Spanish baptism, from the golden age of Hollywood to the digital age, LA has always been more than just a city. It's an idea, a symbol, a story in motion. And its story is far from over. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates.